The 2001 Control Instruments Berg River Canoe Marathon is proudly brought to you by Land Rover, the best 4x4 by far. In previous years, the Control Instruments Berg River Canoe Marathon has had its fair share of excitement and drama. What will 2001 have in store for the paddlers?
I think the race is all going to be won or lost in the first 2 days, and then the second, the third and fourth day, I don't see too many things changing or too many breaks happening.
But like this, I think you've got to try and go with whoever. You can't really hang back with the flowing water. It's difficult to make up time later.
It's going to be a very fast race, I think, because the days are shorter. But there are going to be a couple of tricky areas as well, to be like shortcuts where people are going to know, because the water's flat, it's banks, etc. So they'll be able to cut over banks and corners and stuff like that. So that's going to make things a little bit more tricky as well.
I'm liking the water, and I think it's going to make the things more level for all the guys. I think we are dark horses in this race.
The first day of the 40th Controlled Instruments Berg Canoe Marathon 2001 from Paarl to Zonkersdrift runs up to a total of 59.1 kilometres, and this could arguably be the most technical route of the 4-day event. It's difficult to win it on the first day, but you certainly can lose it. Anyway, it's shortly after 9:30. It's been raining non-stop for the past 2 days, and the weathermen are expecting more today. 250 odd paddlers go onto the water, and this is the official start. It's wet, it's cold, and eventually they hope to get to Feldrift. With defending champion Henk McGregor and runner-up Donny Malherbe both sidelined, this year's championship title is up for grabs. The new favourite is Jacques Taron. Also expect there Graham Monteith, Graham Berg and Piers Cruikshanks. 3-time winner Michael Cheeseman is also back in the race. He had a scare recently with a needle stick injury, and this will be his last serious Berg. The current South African flat water canoe champion Len Jenkins will also be there, and they're all competing for the first prize of 25,000 rand. But look out for the local contingent. Western Province haven't had a winner for 13 years, so look out for Graham Solomon, Peter Cole, Martin Dreyer and the Van Deventer brothers. And seeking to end the Berg voodoo, Graham Solomon is off to a quick start, and along with Graham Bird, they're the first to exit the Dal Yusufat Bridge, with Len Jenkins on the far side. Here they go, that's Solomon's right up front. The past few days' rain has caused the river to flood the many surrounding vineyards and farmlands, opening up a maze of channels and shortcuts the paddlers can negotiate. The Berg really does have a reputation for filling and emptying very quickly, and several weeks have passed since the last good rains, so the groundwater level will be low as well. And this means that any late rains will be absorbed by the farmlands, reducing the runoff into the river. But the Cape Weather Office says that the rain looks set to continue all the way through the race. Just passing Lady Lothbridge, and with the paddlers now having split up, it's Michael Cheeseman, Martin Dreyer and Geert van Deventer who take an early lead ahead of Jacques Taron, Len Jenkins, Graham Monteith and Graham Bird. The Berg River really is the Tour de France of the canoeing sport, and despite the weather, spectators line the banks encouraging the paddlers and giving them the much needed support the competitors crave in conditions like this. For the women's race, 2-time winner Anki Manfroni and Alexa Lombard are the main contenders for the title, with Abby Idema, who's competing for the second time, lying in 3rd place at the moment. This is going to serve as an illustration of just how the water levels have changed. This is last year's Skulky Bridge. And this time around it's going to be a frightening reminder for Graham Solomon, who 8 years ago got caught under the bridge and almost lost his life. Well, this year the paddlers will have no problem at Skulky Bridge, as the level of the river has completely submerged it. Last year's winner, Jean Wilson, tracks the women's race from the riverbanks. Jean, who usually dominates the women's race, is not competing this year because of pregnancy and watches the battle between Alexa and Anki. The Berg River runs through the heart of the Borland, and as the blue train makes its way through the vineyards and wheat fields, it's a clear indication that winter has finally arrived in the mother city. The Berg River has burst its banks by hundreds of metres, making it more difficult for paddlers to choose the right line to find the mainstream down to the finish at Sonker's Drift. Disaster has struck, with Michael Cheeseman taking a wrong line through the trees at Herman Bridge, and race favourite Jacques Turon loses his paddle in the tree block. With disaster having struck early in the race for Cheeseman and Turon, it's Graham Solomon who reaches the finish at Sonker's Drift first in a time of 3 hours and 38 minutes. 2 minutes behind are his teammates Peter Cole, Martin Dreyer and Chris van Deventer, who make it a clean sweep for Western Province and take the top 4 positions on the first day.
And then we all converged in the trees just above Herman, and I got my nose in front there really for the first time after the second bunch caught us on the shortcut, and I took up the pull, and I just went harder, and the guys seemed to just drop off, and I saw a bit of a gap, and I just put my head down and took my chances and went, and that's what happened at the end.
Alexa Lombard and Antje Manfroni crossed the line together to complete the first day's leg in a time of 3 hours 57. Well, day 1 has finished for the paddlers, but it's now left up to the supporting crews to repair damaged canoes and the physiotherapist to rub away the aching muscles in preparation for the second day. The day now drawing to a close, paddlers were left to relax around a blazing bonfire and enjoy some wine tasting while discussing the day's adventure. Day 1 saw Lombard and Manfroni seconds apart, with back in third place 11 minutes behind Abby Medema, and a clean sweep for Western Province in the men's race with Graham Berg from Gauteng in 5th, 3 minutes behind the race leader. Day 2 started no differently than day 1, as the weather forecast predicted a 100% chance of rain, and water levels having risen dramatically again through the night. Day 2 saw the paddlers taking the route from Sonker's Drift to Bridgetown, a total of 43.2 kilometres. With Graham Solomon starting out first on elapsed time, a chasing group of Peter Cole, Chris van Deventer and Martin Dreyer started 1 minute and 58 seconds behind him. Graham Berg from Gauteng was next to start, followed by Gert van Deventer and Len Jenkins. The big task awaited Graham Berg, as he will have to make up the 3-minute difference between himself and the current race leaders. Next to leave were the women, as Manfroni and Lombard would try and outmaneuver each other, not knowing what lies ahead. After the first 49 paddlers left on the lap's times, the rest of the field was set off in batches.
Okay, let's go. Let's back 3 minutes to your start. Please get on the water.
The Cape paddlers had an agreement that they would now work together. Now this meant that Solomon would let Cole, van Deventer and Dreyer catch him up. But just after the start, Graham Berg got caught by Monteith, Jenkins and van Deventer, who worked together to catch the front diamond. At one stage, Jenkins and Berg managed to come within 50 seconds of the front runners. Back in the women's race, it was a two-way struggle between Alexa Lombard and Antje Manfroni, with Abby Medema still securing third place. With the rain still coming down and snow now starting to form on the mountain peaks, the water level had become extremely high. This meant that the paddlers would now have to be really sharp and a lot earlier in picking their lines because of the sheer speed and strength of the water current. There's another victim of a tree block, and this paddler is going to have to slowly make his way to a supporting crew. The support crews will now have to make their way from Gouda Bridge to Driekeuvels Weir, as the railway bridge road has been closed due to heavy rainfalls which caused floods. The rain really belting down. The 4 Western Province paddlers pass the Black Rock Rapid, another point in the river which is also non-existent this year. Even though they have a comfortable lead, they know that in the second diamond there are some big paddlers like Len Jenkins. He's the current South African marathon champion in K1 and K2. And he's just completed the Sprint World Cup event in Copenhagen, also breaking records this year in the Doozy Marathon. Also in that group, Graham Berg, who's made the South African team for 10 years in a row, and he's got 18 South African titles and international titles, as well as Graham Monteith. He's competing in his 24th straight Berg. He's also got 10 Springbok caps. The weather seems to be clearing up, but the roads and the river are proof of just how much water this region has seen in the last couple of days. Here's a quick comparison. Look at the difference in water levels from last year. With the 4 Cape Townians still leading the race, Bird and Jenkins have broken away from Monteith and Van Deventer and are working together to challenge the leaders. With more than half the distance being covered on the second day, it'll take a great effort from these 2 paddlers to catch the leading diamond.
One of the guys in the bunch sort of joked and said, right, as a joke, and one of the guys went right, and I think she happened to be on the wrong side of the bunch and got taken by that guy who was heading off right. So then the bunch sort of split, and I got onto the guys who were going the right way, and I said, like, let's go, you know, and we managed to sort of pull away and slowly get like ahead, because then it worked into 4 of us, and they were looking after me a lot. And then towards the end, the guys who I was with got a bit tired because they'd been looking after me, so I managed to have a bit more strength and help them a bit.
Maintaining a good pace, Abby Medema seems to be content with her current 3rd place. The Drieheuvels Weir, a well-known landmark in this race for the paddler who know that the finish is just 15 minutes or so away. But this year, the Weir was nowhere to be seen.
Basically, as I said, I went off at a steady pace, you know, and the guys worked nicely behind, and they caught up to me. And then when all 4 of us, because we're all from Western Province, we worked nicely together, and we just kept it steady throughout the day. We could see the guys making inroads from behind, you know, but it was really coming up and down, you know, and we could see that they were working quite hard, and we just kept a steady pace going, and we ended up 2 minutes odd ahead of them today, you know, in a bunch of 4, which is an ideal position for us at the moment.
Alexa Lombard has done well to capitalise on an error in judgment by Antje Manfroni, who finished in 2nd place. And this puts her 3 minutes ahead of Manfroni, who finished in a time of 3 hours and 57 seconds.
What happened to your head?
Well, I hit went under a tree. There was a little stumpy sticking out.
Yeah?
And it didn't duck low enough.
Just needs a good massage and a stretch, and then it's better.
Yeah, the guys getting muscle cramps, the guys getting stomach cramps, they're vomiting, they're getting hypovolemic and all those sort of things. And we must put on drip sometimes just to get the blood pressure up again, just to get them on again, the body volume up again, and then we can carry on. But as the race goes on, we're getting different kinds of results.
And after a hard day's work, it's time to put your feet up and enjoy the sights, sounds and the atmosphere, something that personifies the Berg. Looking at the results of day 2, Alexa Lombard has pulled a 3-minute gap over Antje Manfroni, and Abby Medema is a full 6.5 minutes off the pace. In the men's race, Michael Cheeseman, after having a torrid first day, has bounced back and has posted the quickest time on the second day, proving that he's still a force to be reckoned with. It's a cold and misty morning that greets the paddlers at Misverstand Dam, where they'll kick off on the 55-kilometre stage to Zoutkloof. First batch of paddlers are on their way, barely 500 metres after the start. A quick 300-metre portage took them around the dam wall. Doozy winner Len Jenkins may be looking comfortable, but we understand he's got food poisoning and that might take its toll. Alexa Lombard making sure she defends her lead successfully and realises that this portage could be crucial, as the current and eddies below the dam wall could play havoc as they enter the mainstream after the portage. The dam was overflowing for the first section after the dam wall. Canoeists had to paddle in chest-high foam, which made it difficult to see stoppers and eddies. Abby Medema leading the second wave to the portage with veteran Giel van Deventer close behind. With his two sons up among the leaders, he must surely be a proud father. The team prize money of 30,000 rand is there for the taking for the Western Province contingent, but now Cole, van Deventer and Dreyer have dropped back to the second diamond, leaving Solomon on his own to fight off the onslaught from Gauteng. Moravia Weir, also closed to traffic this year, will see the paddlers having to once again complete a compulsory portage. This in itself could rearrange the positions of the paddlers. Solomon playing it safe and making it a clean and effective portage. He can't afford to be impatient here. Cruikshanks and the veteran Monteith are working hard for the Gauteng team. Meanwhile, Anshuman Frony is starting to feel the strain. This is the second diamond. The Western Province paddlers pulled by Martin Dreyer, eager to pull in the leading pack to help out Solomon, who's up against the Gauteng paddlers. This is a reminder of what Clipperville Bridge looks like, but today they're paddling over it. The snow-covered peaks in the background, an illustration of just how cold it is, and a warning to paddlers to stay dry in their boats. Nick Longley succumbs to the effects of following Cheeseman, who decides to take a long shortcut and throwing them way off the leading pack. The breathtaking scenery of the Swartland region, with a particularly heavy snowfall and heavy rains welcoming yet again the paddlers. Reports of food poisoning are confirmed as Len Jenkins, having fallen off the leading pack, is then classed by the chasing diamond. The seafood the previous evening, together with his late arrival in South Africa, have possibly acted to his detriment. Berg, using his no endurance abilities, tries to tire out Solomon with the help of teammate Taron, but today Solomon has what it takes to match the pace. There's Alexa Lombard comfortably holding off Manfroni. Solomon comfortably holds off the challenge for the two Gauteng paddlers, with Jacques Taron taking line honours for the third day. With the spectators looking on, Peter Cole brings in the chasing pack of Western Province paddlers, tightening their grip on the provincial team prize. Meanwhile, Alexa Lombard has a 15-minute lead on Manfroni.
Today was always going to be a difficult day. It was going to be a tactical day with Solomon and the other three KPs making a break for it yesterday and the day before, and having a lead on us. The volleys were going to work together to try and pull back some time today. And, I have to thank Jacques Taron for the day. He looked after me for the first 2.5, 3 hours today, and he really paddled well, and he deserves his win today. And I'm really glad that I could pull up some time on the three guys that were in front of me.
Dima has posted one of the fastest times of the day and made up 4 minutes on Manfroni. Although the Gauteng paddlers set the 2 fastest times of the day, the Western Province paddlers are still favourites going into the 4th and final day. Day 4 brings the threat of more rain, and who can forget the gale force conditions endured by the paddlers on last year's final day. So today's final 50-kilometre stage will start at Kersfontein, weaving its way to the time trial at Kliphoek, where the race will be won and lost. The leading contenders are away, and Solomon needs to just hold on to the leading boat to maintain his lead.
Try and sort of make sure I don't get dropped by the volley contingent before the elapsed time starts, and then and then paddle for home, eh?
For those paddlers not competing for line honours, the challenge is merely completing the Berg. If all goes well, Alexa Lombard should hold on to a considerable lead today. The women don't compete in the time trial, and they will just push on to the end. Fitting closure to this scenic race, Veldrift is a comfort to the blistered, aching hands and bodies of more than 200 paddlers. Kliphoek, the start of the time trial and the start of the 15 kilometres for those new to the sport of canoeing. Here are last year's lashing rains that tormented the canoeists, but this year the floating hyacinth proving the obstacle for the weary paddlers to overcome.
I don't think it's weak. I think once you got that yellow jersey on and you're out front, I think it's easy to be strong, even if you are suffering or weak a little bit. But you know, if we can pull Cheesy back in, and we can get Monty up there and Shark up there and Piers up there, maybe we can hurt him a little bit. And if we can hurt him enough that when he starts that last hour, 2 minutes in front of myself, and it looks like the other 3 KPs will start just behind me, we'll have a bunch of 4 chasing him down, and if we've hurt him enough, we possibly might be able to pull him in.
Len Jenkins pulls into the time trial in the lead, but it's not enough damage done to Solomon's lead. After the 15-minute rest at Kliphoek, the paddlers are set off on their final time trial. Solomon has a 2-minute lead, but is surely feeling the pressure from Berg. The man almost taken by the Berg 8 years ago has displayed huge courage and is 15 kilometres away from claiming the prestigious title.
2, 1, go!
Berg definitely has the talent to challenge the 2-minute deficit, and he'll be hoping Solomon cracks under the pressure.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
This year's finish at Veldrift Bridge sees spectators gathering to witness and welcome this year's winner of the Control Instruments Berg River Canoe Marathon. Overcoming a shallow water portage halfway to the finish, Solomon successfully defends a 1-minute lead on Berg to take the title. A valiant effort by Graham Bird sees him close in on Solomon, but it's too little too late, and he has to be content with 2nd place. Martin Dreyer comes in for 3rd place ahead of Chris van Deventer, and the team prize for Western Province. Antje Manfroni wins the final stage, but has to be satisfied with 2nd place overall, behind this woman, Alexa Lombard.
It was a really hard day, very long, and the wind was a bit of a curveball, which really bothered you and it affected you, especially with Antje being ahead, and I had no idea what she was making on the time that I had, so just to get you in here that I'd actually kept the time, it was just absolutely awesome.
I made a bit of a mess up at the end. I sort of ran out of water, and I missed the channel because it's quite tidal at the end here, so I had to get on my boat and run across the mud, and I looked behind and the guys were coming, so that was a very, very stressful moment, but I found the stream again, thank goodness, and managed to get you in one piece.
So the final result, indicating the true performances of the country's elite river canoeists. It's the world's toughest and purest test of endurance for those paddlers. Tough enough to meet the challenge. Congratulations to Graham Solomon and Alexa Lombard, the king and queen of the Berg. The 2001 Control Instruments Berg River Canoe Marathon was proudly brought to you by Land Rover, the best 4x4 by far.